good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to our second crowdfunding panel on the Solution film as we continue our odyssey to try and crowdfund for the marketing of Lead the Way. Yeah, so Eugene, for people that don't know about ourselves and Lead the Way, do you want to tell us a little bit about what Lead the Way is about?
The film is the story of Patrick Lead, who is legally blind and autistic, the perfect candidate for president of the United States. So obviously you see a little comedy in there, a little satire right in that. It's actually a new genre, but it's even more than a new genre. So it's a change in an evolution in the film industry.
Okay, sure. So, I mean, for people that don't know too much about genre is pretty much how we market the film in certain categories for certain audiences. So, I mean, right now, what are the plans to market the film, Eugene? Because we know the Solution film does not yet exist in the marketplace.
Yeah, so it's very hard to market. So, we're trying a whole new way of marketing the film. I mean, usually a film is marketed by a trailer, okay? And we do have a trailer, a preliminary trailer for the film. But because it's a new genre, and because right now trailers, it's really hard to get a trailer on the internet or get it on the TV and actually get people to see it, because the studios are having the same problem with the pandemic. Is they're buying the good time for their trailers, okay?
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
very hard to get it seen.
Exactly. So it's even hard to get into the theatre system, which is why we might need to sell it online or stream it somewhere instead.
Exactly.
But I mean, the money we're trying to raise is all for the marketing, and we're trying to push the Solution film as much as possible so that it does redefine a whole new genre.
Yeah.
I mean, so at the moment on our IMDb page, it's registered as a comedy, which we discussed before could be labelled as a dramedy, because it fits the model of comedy and drama. Not to mention it is a political satire, but please enlighten us. What's the specific conventions that create the Solution film?
Well, first of all, if you look at all the films that ever been made over a century of films, they have always tried to fit them into one genre or another, okay? But the greatest films ever made have reflected reality, the way things are. And that's why people identify with them, you know? They can identify with characters in those films because they're a reflection of reality. So what we have done is we've gone a step further, because a film that shows reality is interesting, is engrossing, but we've went beyond that, and we're not showing just the way things are, but in a Solution film, you show the way things could be. Okay? So you're not showing problems. Okay? Probably the best films that show problems are documentaries. They show problems. But we actually show possible solutions to the problems that face the world today. I would say the closest genre to a film, although people don't necessarily consider it a genre, is a documentary, because it seems real. It's taking real to another step. All of the evolution in film has been technical, mainly for the last 100 years. We went from silent,
whereas the storytelling is all quite repetitive.
Right.
We see Hollywood pumping out the same structure, the same stories all the time, just changing them slightly. Whereas this is a bigger reflection of life, is how you're defining the Solution genre.
And you see, by going from silent film to talkies, they're getting closer to real life, because people actually talk. Then going from black and white to color, they're getting closer to reality, because we see in color, okay? Then going from film to video, it even seems more real. You know what I mean? It's not a bunch of
So,
pictures stuck together,
so the
crap.
solution film really could fit into all genres in the sense of showing
Yeah,
people how it could be or how
yeah,
reality could be. So it could fit into even a sci-fi or a drama or
yeah.
so you know.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm,
When I
mm,
first wrote a solution film, I brought it to the studios. I met with some of the top producers at the studios, and they would say to me, I mean, and the reason I got it in because it was so different, you know. But after they read the scripts, they said, "Oh my God, this is very interesting," but it, I can't even figure out what genre it is.
So
So
it's
yeah,
like it's designed to be a specific genre which fits into the drama or in between the drama, the comedy, the thriller, the action. It fits in between all of these as a genre itself. It's not a subgenre within the
no,
medium like the
no.
psychological thriller or the romantic comedy. It's mm-hmm.
Right.
Go on.
And the main reason I spent all this time is trying to fit other genres into a solution film so that it's more, an audience is going to be can be more familiar with it. You
Yeah,
know?
sure,
So
sure.
specifically, you say, okay, I want to make this kind of a detective film, but it's still a solution film. But I want to put that in there because people are familiar with a detective film, or they're familiar with a rom-com, or they're familiar with a comedy. But the main problem in each film is when you do a comedy, you want people to laugh, right? The reaction you want from a comedy. From a drama, you want them to cry, to really get involved, you know? If you're doing, let's say, a horror film, you want them to be frightened, fearful. What the
Um,
reaction you want from a solution film is different. You want them to be, to feel uplifted, to feel powerful, to feel that they can accomplish anything. That's what a solution film. It makes them. It has a
so
different.
it's kind of an empowerment film, like the
Yes.
feel-good drama that's on the quest to make dreams happen, or something like that. So it
Right.
does still, in a way, fit into the drama, and because it's a reflection of life, like you said, or how life could
Yeah.
be. I mean, I would actually say the drama's the closest medium to the solution film.
Well, I would
Um,
say, yeah, I would say there's no really close. Drama is close, comedy is close, even science fiction, because a lot of people try to show solutions to problems, but they do it in the future, not in the present. One of the basics of a solution film is it takes place in the present day. Okay, it takes place now. So if you're watching a certain part of, say, Lead the Way, you could be watching part and say, "Hey, wow, is this really happening? I wonder if they're covering it on CNN. Let me look at CNN or look at Fox. I want to see if they're covering this news." And you realize, "Wait, this isn't really happening. This is a movie. I'm going to go back, and this is interesting. I really thought it was happening." You know, it's
okay,
that's why I'd say it's closest to a documentary. If I would
closest to a
say anything
documentary.
it's close to, is that's where
Okay.
the base comes in the documentary. Yeah.
Okay, but it's still fiction. It's still
It's still
fiction because
fiction.
because documentary is more about the narrative form, isn't it? Whereas genre is more to define the fiction market. When you say,
It's narrative fiction. A solution film is narrative fiction, but its base is like a documentary. The base of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I've got you. I've got you. So, I mean, are there any titles out there at the moment that you would say resonate with the solution genre? So, any films that people might know that resonate with it?
Okay, well, I've watched thousands of films over the years, and I would say the closest film to a solution film that I've seen is a film. called Accidental Courtesy. It was made in 2016, 5 years ago.
Hmm.
Accidental, and it is a documentary. Okay?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
But it shows an actual possible solution to a problem that faces us today.
And
Okay?
that's what defines the genre. It's
Yeah.
all about solutions
Mhm.
that we want to see
Oh,
happen,
yes.
or really finding solutions to
Yeah.
the world's problems that we're currently
Yes.
facing. So, making them relevant stories to today.
And I would say the closest film that is a narrative fiction, that's a, not a documentary, would be a film called Resurrection
Okay.
that was made in 1980. And the people, it was a studio that released the film. They didn't even understand the basis of the film itself. They thought it was a religious film. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they didn't understand that this was not a religious film. This went far beyond religion, you know. So they didn't understand, and they tried to release it as a religious film. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
obviously they didn't understand the film, but that was the closest to a solution film that I
Closest
ever
to a solution
saw.
film.
That was a narrative fiction and not a documentary. Yeah.
Right, right. Okie dokie. Yeah, so I take it we want to create a serious following with Lead the Way, because obviously to establish a genre, you have to have a whole series of films, not just one
Sure.
that hold the same conventions and repeat the same patterns. So, I mean, you've got a whole course that you've designed on the solution genre that really defines its identity. And I mean, what that's going for 130 on our perks at the
Or
moment. Is it
150.
130?
It's 150.
150, 150.
150. Yes.
Okie dokie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, do you want to tell us a bit more about the course and what it involves?
Well, the course involved is the first related to what a genre is and how
Hmm.
it differs from a theme and other aspects of a film, how it is the elemental structure of the film, the look of the film, all of that combined, you know?
Hmm.
Because if you get into comedy, there's a lot of different kinds of comedy. You know what I mean?
Sure. So,
There's
so the pure
slapstick.
basics of
Yeah.
storytelling itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the basics of solution film, what are the basics? And why you can use any other genre that's familiar to an audience to make a solution film work for
Hmm.
any audience, you know? So
Sure.
you have to
Sure.
be able to use other genres as well, because if you have a straight solution film, they'll think it's a documentary. Okay?
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
And how many webinars is that based over? Just is it just the one, or is it a
Well, we're
series?
going to start with one, and if they do it through the campaign, okay, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of other perks.
Yeah,
Like
sure,
they get
sure.
to get to see
Yeah,
the
because
film.
once
They have
once
to see
people,
the film to understand what I'm talking about too, because I'm
sure,
going to
sure.
refer to scenes in the film in the class. So they
Mm-hmm.
see, well, oh yeah, you have romantic comedy in here. Oh, you have drama in here. Oh, you have political satire in here. But it's really overall, if you look, what's the overall genre of the film? Solution film. It's a
Mm-hmm.
different kind of film. Yeah.
And the whole point is, once people actually join up and buy the perk, they're part of our, community, which is pretty much made to order movies and new international studios. So, I mean, that's a real offering for filmmakers to become a part of a bigger collaboration, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we've already started a studio called Made to Order Movies. Okay. And one of the things that we will be emphasizing is solution films. That will be one of our main genre of films. But we're going to work in all the genres, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the main
Mm-hmm.
thing is we will have a studio kind of like the old studio system, okay? We'll have a certain amount of directors, producers, writers, cinematographers, everybody above and below the line that we will work with. But we won't own them. You know, like in this old studio system, you owned them. It will be kind of a combination of the old studio system and the Mercury Theater, which was something that Orson Welles started. Okay? He mainly was actors and directors, people with talent that made projects together. You know, they were all fans of each other, friends and fans of each other. Okay? And they develop projects within their group. So it is more, it's hard to get into. I would say made-to-order movies is very hard to get into, to become a member, you know, in any one or more categories, you know, because you could be a director and a writer, you know, or something. Hard to get in and easy to get out.
Okay, sure.
Okay. And it's going to be concentrate on quality and not quantity. And it's breaking down barriers. In other words, when you're trying to get your project into a studio, you got all these gatekeepers, and you've got to go through an agent and a manager, and then you got to go through readers and all this. You know, by the time you get your project in, you might not exist anymore. You know what I mean? I had a friend that went through that. He died before his film got made. You know?
Oh God, yeah.
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 So
yeah, well, we don't want that to happen to us.
We're breaking down almost all the barriers in made-to-order movies. It's a studio.
Yeah.
We call ourselves a studio without borders or walls. So
Which
you don't
means you
have
could be anywhere in the world.
Right.
You could be anywhere in the world.
It's not a building where you have to knock on the door and then when they open it, you get your foot in. No. It's very open. You can talk to the top people in the studio, you know, on a call like this, you know? So it's and there's no fees. You don't have to pay a membership fee, this, that, fees. There's no fees even. It's your talent.
No.
Our collateral in our studio is not money, it's people, it's talent. Our talent is our collateral.
And I mean, that's what we are looking to do, basically build worldwide collaboration of the new generation of filmmakers that are out there. We want to connect everyone together through our networks, through crowdfunding, through production, or writing, or whatever it is that people do, or, you know, composers, everyone who's out there who's involved in the entertainment or creative arts, you know, should get involved, wouldn't you say, Eugene? Because we even have artists whose work we're using in our new production of VR Immersive. Yeah,
and you know what? I get a lot of feedback. I let a lot of people say, "Oh, people have tried to do this before, and it's impossible. You can't do it." You know. But the thing is, they don't realize I've got some background in that area. I ran an international organization of filmmakers for 20 years, okay? And I also ran a sales and marketing company that sold films around the world for 11 years. So I've had experience in putting together these types of organizations that were a real evolution in that field,
and focusing on getting films out there, making money out of them, and sharing the profits where they need to go. So I mean, by all means, we've got now about 2.5 weeks left of our campaign. Eugene, there is something that maybe we want to mention now we're halfway through the campaign. Is we have put officially secret perks on the campaign page. Is that right?
Yes, I put the secret perks in the update section. The update section, yeah. I put some of it, and we're going to be adding more. I've already had other suggestions for secret perks now that I put those up there. So,
sure. Yeah. So people that don't know about secret perks, and especially don't know about crowdfunding, if they do, what is the secret perk? How is it different from an ordinary perk?
Okay, a secret perk is not actually offered until you reach your goal on your campaign. So in other words, when you go into past your goal, then you offer your secret perks. And those are ones that are, wow, I mean, it's once you've got a following, you understand, once you have a big following, secret perks have more meaning,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And there are things related to the film itself. Something that you could physically hold in your hand related to the
Mm-hmm.
film, you know?
Yeah, which is where we can mention our other perks that we have on offer right now. They're all virtual perks, so they're all perks that you'll be able
Yes.
to be supplied online, and you'll be able to enjoy them
So,
in the comfort of your home without actually moving anywhere.
in
These are
other
more
words, we'll have
physical
no
objects.
problem with delivering them because we
Hmm.
don't have to go through snail mail and send
Hmm.
stuff to people. We go through the internet and they can get it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Eugene, before we go, the filmmaking around the world, what does made-to-order movies mean for us all?
Well, it means that independent film has evolved to a whole new era because all of the doors will be broken down, all of the gatekeepers will be gone, and people will be able to make the films that they really want to make. I mean, 50
Hmm.
years ago, you couldn't make a solution film, but today, because of a new studio without borders or walls like made to order movies, you will be able to make solution film. A solution film doesn't have to represent only one solution, but you can have one solution in an entire solution film. But you can have more than one. We had 12 solutions originally in this film,
Hmm.
okay? But because it was going to be longer than 3.5 hours, we decided we've got to cut some of these
You've got to
solutions
cut
out.
out some of the
Yes,
solutions. Yeah,
and
yeah.
because of that, we're already working on the sequel because we
Hmm.
need to get those solutions in. Yes,
Awesome. Right. So
yes,
so there's a sequel in the way. There's another
yes.
solution out there to be
Yeah, I don't
solved
think
pretty
we talked
much.
about the sequel either. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
we haven't spoken about the sequel, but
yeah.
that's for people to learn about. I mean, I suppose we're not going to be exposing any of the plot. We want people to see the film first,
Well,
definitely.
just just so you know
Well,
personally, in the original script, okay, the original script, we went through all the way to the end of the sequel. I can't hear you anymore. Went all the way.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went all the way into the end of the sequel. So it's already basically part of the film. But Richard said, "No, I want to end it here. I want to end it here," and he was right. He
Hmm.
was right. It's far too long of a film if I put in all these other solutions,
Well,
and it was so long it would be confusing.
I
You know?
mean, that's the thing about the cutting room floor. It is the
Yeah.
place to just shred to pieces until you get down to the bones of the
Yeah.
narrative.
We,
I
we
mean,
even. Yeah.
coming from writing, there's a lot of fluff
Yeah.
in between things that we don't
Yeah.
necessarily need. You know,
And it
shorter is
really
always better.
hurt because even some of the solutions that are originally in Lead the Way had to also be cut out because it
Hmm.
was just too much time. We
Hmm.
wanted to get it close to an hour and a half. I think we're about an hour and 41 minutes, but
Okay,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but I mean, definitely, everything you cut will strengthen the narrative in the long run. I mean, I'm in the middle of post production with something at the moment. I'm getting onto a 3 hour edit, but you look at it and there's stuff you don't want to drop, you don't want to let go of, but you have to, and that's why you need someone else by your side to have a second pair
yeah,
of eyes over you and make sure
yeah,
you're just keeping the gold dust. That's all you're doing.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Eugene, and everyone watching. I mean, I hope you have a great weekend ahead, and please, please, please don't forget to check out our campaign page. You can back us for $1 with Oprah or Wenda, and don't forget to list a problem that you want to see solved in the world. It could be global warming, it could be the political situation which we're emphasising on and Lead the Way. If that's your thing, if that's what affects you. So yeah, just please show your support wherever you can, share our stuff, and yeah, thank you for watching.